Good evening, Daytona Beach, and welcome to the May 1st, 2024 meeting of the Daytona Beach City Commission. We're happy and delighted to have you with us this evening. Madam Clerk, may we please have a roll call?
Commissioner Paris?
Here.
Commissioner Strickland?
Here.
Commissioner May? Commissioner Cantu?
Here.
Commissioner Henry?
Present.
Commissioner Reed?
Here.
Mayor Derek L. Henry?
Here. We'll now have the invocation, which will be led by Commissioner May, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Commissioner Paris. Please rise for the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance.
Good evening, everybody. I want to take this time to sincerely thank you all for taking the time out of your schedules to join us this evening as we make wise and just decisions, listening to responses from all. Again, thank you for your time, and thank you for watching us at home.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll now move on to item number 4, which is approval of the minutes of the April 3rd, 2024 City Commission workshop and the April 3rd, 2024 City Commission meeting.
So moved.
We have a motion from Commissioner Paris and a second from Commissioner May. Do we have any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. This time we will have our agenda approval. If there are any changes, the city manager will read them at this time.
Yes, Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, item 8E, Finance Department Bike Week Sponsorship Funds. We're adding $400 contribution to Kappa Alpha Psi for the organization's Scholarship Derby from the Bike Week funds of Commissioner Ken Strickland. We're adding $200 contribution to Campbell Middle School for the White Coat Ceremony from the Bike Week funds of Commissioner Juanita May. Item 8I, Information Technology Systems, establishing capital project budget for security cameras for Daisy Stocking Park. No, excuse me, that's the wrong one. That's not, that is for the mobile vehicle for permits and licensing will be moved from this commission's meetings to a later meeting.
Okay.
So that's not the, Daisy Stockings is okay.
Okay. So okay.
8C is the City Manager's Office Coronavirus Local Fiscal Recovery Fund distribution. Add $3,500 to Mainland High School for 7 $500 scholarships from Commissioner Danette Henry. And just for the record, make sure item 8I is for the information technologies permitting, mobile permitting system that will be removed.
Okay.
That concludes the changes, Mayor.
Did you have a question, Commissioner?
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What was that correction that you made, Mr. City Manager?
Item 8I is being moved on, but it was different on the minutes of what was, it was denoting Daisy Stockings Park, but that's not the case.
So 8I is being pulled. It's the Information Technology Systems Permits and Licensing Mobile Permit Center Vehicle Purchase. That is being moved to the next meeting.
Okay.
And Commissioner May, did you have a question about? Which?
There was 3 letters sent in. One is being approved. The other one was Campbell. There was one more.
Oh, yes. That didn't have to be on. Yeah, I know which one it is. It's a sponsorship. That's good. It's good. It doesn't have to be on this one.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
Motion to approve the agenda with the said changes.
We have a motion from Commissioner Reed and a second from Commissioner Cantu. Do we have any questions or comments? All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, we're going to move on to item number 6, which is our presentation. A presentation from the Easter Seals, Northeast Central Florida, and Beverly Johnson, President CEO, to present.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening, Beverly.
City staff and residents, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. Commissioner Harris called and asked if I would come and give a brief presentation on the services that we offer here in Daytona Beach and also the expanding services that we have throughout the county. As you all know, today is May 1st, and it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and I think it's timely to be here. So I'm the president and the CEO of Easter Seals Northeast Central Florida. We will next year be celebrating our 75th anniversary right here on Dunn Avenue in Daytona Beach. Longtime residents, as I like to say, and we love serving and working in this community, so thank you for that. We are a pediatric disability services organization. We serve children from birth to 22 and then young adults into transition, with a primary focus and a really special place in our heart for children with autism. We're the leading diagnostic center in the region, actually, with a lot of very new technology and things that are enhancing the services that we offer earlier so that our children can be diagnosed as early as possible and receive treatment as early as possible. But when it comes to mental health, how Easter Seals is making an impact and playing a role, we've recently started a program called Me in Progress, or hashtag MIP, because if you don't have a hashtag in front of it, at least today, you're not cool. And we actually are targeting teenagers that fall through the cracks. So those kids that maybe have a diagnosis or don't have a diagnosis, but that are just really struggling with the day-to-day. And I think we all know somebody that's living in that life, or we were that person, or we know somebody that knows a child that's struggling right now. So MIP is a place where they can go, our teenagers, our high school students right now, and we're moving into middle school. Our middle school and high school students can go and kind of like that friends phenomenon, right? They always have a place to go. There's always somebody there they know. It's recreational based, but the key is that we have mental health counselors and social workers as the staff there. So whether they are engaging in traditional one-on-one or group therapy, or they're just there seeking homework support or a place to belong, we have trained staff there helping them work on relationships, understand themselves, and help build confidence and resilience so that then when they leave our community and go out into college and hopefully come back to our community, they've got the tools that they need to be successful. So it's basically every child unto themselves until they come into that world, and then we're there to support them and meet them where they are. So in a nutshell, a very small nutshell, because I know you have a busy agenda, that's what Easter Seals does as a whole. But I have a video I'd like to show you because we've taken a bold step about a year ago to purchase a property. It's in New Smyrna Beach, unincorporated. It's actually in the county. Hopefully for our children and our residents in this community that live with special needs and unique abilities to find a place they can call their own, and we can invite the community in to help experience life in their world. So I'll show you the video very quickly. It's just about 3 minutes long, and then I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you.
Hey y'all, it's Bev Johnson from Easter Seals, Northeast Central Florida. Guess what? We bought a farm. I get a little excited, sorry. So we dream all the time at Easter Seals, and we've been dreaming about something like this for about 20 years. There's so much opportunity here in Volusia County, but our kids need even more. Why do we have to live in a big city for our kids to be offered every opportunity available to them? Why can't we do it right here in Volusia-Flagler County? PT, OT, speech, farming, you name it, the sky's the limit. So the inspiration behind our name, Edgar's Farm, stems back over 100 years to almost 1920. Edgar Allan, who was a Rotarian at the time in Ohio, had a son that was tragically injured in an automobile accident. And at that point in time, there weren't a lot of options for kids that needed extensive help and services. So Edgar and his friends from Rotary founded the Crippled Children's Society, which ultimately became Easter Seals. In honor of Edgar Allan and all of the work he did to create the vision of ultimately Easter Seals, we're very pleased and proud to announce the name of our farm, Edgar's Farm. Our big dream for this property is to create what we deemed the Empowerment Academy. The Empowerment Academy is a kindergarten through 12th grade school that will serve our children with special needs. And this property, everything that happens here will wrap itself around our children and support those kids in ways we never knew possible. We already have a world-class aquatic therapy program at our Dunn Avenue location. We're adding to that. With this wonderful pool, we get to expand that service, and we also get to add swim lessons, or actually really drowning prevention. So we're super excited to bring that to this community as well.
Behind me, you see vast pastures. We see them too, and trust me, we'll keep some of those, but we plan on farming this land. We want our kids to have the opportunity to learn about growing vegetables, flowers, fruit, and we want them to actually take advantage of all that has to offer. Maybe they'll even create micro businesses. For years, there's been a trusted, high-quality equine therapy program on this property, and we're going to continue those services. In fact, here's some of our new staff right now. We've got 9 horses and, of course, a donkey. What would a farm be without animals? In order for the development of Edgar's Farm to become a reality, we need you. We need volunteers, we need donors, we need community partners. Come dream with us.
Seals in general or Edgar's Farm, we're incredibly excited to bring different services to this community.
Are you doing anything for the families? So you've got the kids, but the families, what kind of programs do you have for the families?
Yes, great question. So we do have a couple of programs for families, and it really depends on where they fit in our kind of scope of service, if you will. So we have something called a family intensive training program, which is generally speaking for more geared towards our families that have children with autism that are trying to figure out how to navigate behaviors and things like that. So we firmly believe in a train the trainer approach, if you will. So as opposed to sending your child for therapy and then hoping they come home and they've learned something, we actually believe in training the families so that they have the supports in place that they need, 1, to take care of themselves, and 2, to help their child throughout their life. So family intensive training is one of those. We also have counseling services available on site. And one of the things that I think we lose sight of as a mom of a child with a special need, we do everything we can for our children, but we oftentimes forget that it's kind of hard sometimes as a parent. So we encourage our families to take advantage of the mental health counseling services that we have. And then the last thing that we have, which we hope to build out even further once the once the farm is more developed, is a respite program again.
I love that. And that's much needed with behavioral issues with the families. And so do you have any stats for us with regard to the number of people, number of kids in the school system right now who have autism, who are going to school? Do you know any numbers?
So that's a great question. We actually hold the therapy contract for PT and OT for Volusia County Schools. So we see about 15,000 children a year through Volusia County Schools, kindergarten through 12th grade. And then speech therapy is in-house, but we do PT and OT. So out of those 15,000 children, the number is growing. It's 1 in 36 children are diagnosed with autism now.
So 1 per classroom.
It's at least 1 per classroom, provided our children are mainstreamed. So, and most of them are, right? So I would say probably at this point, about 2/3 of the children that we serve in the Volusia County school system are diagnosed with autism.
2/3?
Probably.
So that means 2/3 of the families are also then contending with, when we go home, what do we do with that? So what does it cost to sponsor a family, one family, for therapy through your counseling services? How does that work?
That's a great question, and one I haven't been presented with before, so thank you for thinking of that. So mental health counseling services, I would say, on average, we're looking at about probably $100 a week. And it depends on what that family would need, depending on how many weeks and whatnot. Our family intensive training program is about $1,500. It's a 10-week program, but it runs kind of deeper than just therapy. So we're actually modeling, role
Skills
modeling.
and interventions and whatnot.
Exactly.
And so that $1,500 covers that one program for how many families? Is that one person?
One family. We do 1 counselor for 1 family with the FIT program.
15 weeks, okay. And then what does it cost to send a child to Edgewater?
To the farm?
Yeah.
It depends on what service they're actually utilizing at the farm. At this point in time, the school is not yet built. It's still a dream. So right now, we have mental health services that incorporate the equine therapy services, and that is, it's $85 a session. We do bill insurance if it's available. If we're looking to scholarship, we usually say $50 a session for scholarship assists a family.
Okay.
For mental health with equine. And then we also do equine assisted riding, or therapy assisted riding, and then equine hippotherapy, which is the clinic PT, OT, and speech-based therapy using the horse.
So from just a number of evidence-based practices, you've incorporated a naturalistic setting, which tends to calm the nervous system.
Yes.
And then you have some water there as well. You have some activity. It's very wide, it's open, it's spacious, it's managed, but it feels safe at all times. and you have people there who understand
Yes.
autism and how they look at the triggers and see what's going on. I think it's a much-needed program, and having worked at Halifax Behavioral Services, we don't have a local program that's residency-based, that's longer than 21 days, that's local in the community. So we have one that's 21 days, and you can have respite care for the family. But beyond that, you go back home, but the family only got 21 days break. So it would be interesting. It's an interesting program. I think it's a worthy program, actually. So we will have further conversation about how to sponsor a family, because there are a couple of schools that I think would benefit from knowing and getting the kids there. It's very good. Thank you.
And if I could ask anything of you all, that is phenomenal. The number one thing we need is to people to talk to the residents and let them know that there is help and there are services available here locally, because I think oftentimes we get overwhelmed in our needs and we don't reach out. So if you know somebody that needs help, we have a position called a pediatric navigator that helps anybody in the county that has a child with any kind of need, any kind of unique ability. We connect with other organizations if we don't do it ourselves. It's a free service, and it's just a phone call to Easter Seals or an email to Easter Seals. You can find that all on our website, which is eastersealsnecfl.org. But our pediatric navigator is in place because we were receiving so many calls about 4 years ago that had nothing to do with what we did. But we couldn't just say, we don't do that, and hang up the phone. It's not who we are. It's not in our DNA. So we created a position to answer those calls and help connect people with whatever services it is that they might need, even if we don't know about them at the time. So
How are you all funded?
every funding stream imaginable, to be honest. The good news about that is if one is down, hopefully one is up. But we do receive some state funding, legislative funding. We have some federal grants, but they're federal to state pass-throughs, so we don't have any direct federal grants at this point in time. We do receive some county funding. We do, depending on the program, receive some city funding. Most of our alternative funding then comes from private foundations or private donors. We also have third-party payment for our medical services, and then we have subsidy through organizations like the Early Learning Coalition, and last, we have private pay services. So we literally span the gamut.
So daycare is, in several cases, private pay, right?
So in a lot of settings, yes. Most of our families are heavily subsidized through School Readiness and Early Learning Coalition. We have very few families that are straight private pay in our childcare settings.
I have had the fortune of coming out as a reader
Yes.
on a number of occasions. We have an older cousin who works there as a sort of a grandmother figure.
She's amazing.
And she loves the work, and we have had a number of our family members to come through the program as young children. So the work is certainly needed, certainly comprehensive, appreciated. And I want to thank you for using your professionalism and understanding of a community need, because this is in the line of health services, mental health services, and I want to encourage you to continue to bring these things to light to us as well as the commission and the community. So thank you for doing that, and thank you for all that you're doing. Well, I thought they said you brought them. It was you? I missed the name? Well, either way, good questions. Great product to bring before us, because I think that as we try to become the community that we want to become, which every day is to incline to a better place, we have to find those pockets that sometimes are lost and forgotten, or just unknown. So it's about bringing things to everyone's consciousness. So again, thank you to all, and thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good night. Thank you.
You too.
Moving on to item 6B, it's our proclamation of Municipal Clerks Week, May 5th, 2024 through May 11th, 2024.
As I say to my students, it is a great day to be among the living. Today, we are here for the proclamation, the 55th Annual Professional Municipal Clerks Week. Whereas the office of the Professional Municipal Clerk is a time-honored and vital part of local government that exists throughout the world and is the oldest among public servants. And whereas professional municipal clerks provide the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and agencies of government at other levels. And whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all, and serve as the information center on functions of local government and community. And whereas professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the professional municipal clerk through participation in educational programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations. And whereas we, the City of Daytona Beach, have one of the world's greatest and most professional municipal clerks in the person of Letitia LaMagna, now therefore I, Derek L. Henry, Mayor of the City of Daytona Beach, and on behalf of my colleagues on the City Commission, do proudly hereby recognize the week of May 5th through May 11th, 2024, as Professional Municipal Clerks Week in the City of Daytona Beach, and further extend appreciation to our municipal clerk, Ms. LaMagna, and to all professional municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. In witness whereof I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the great city of Daytona Beach, Florida, to be affixed 5th day of May 2024. Thank you. Good work.
One more? Sorry, social media.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you do.
Okay, so we're going to move on to item number 7. This is citizen comments, and during this time, citizens have the opportunity to address the City Commission on any item on the consent agenda. My first speaker is John Nicholson, and on deck is Evelyn Rodriguez.
John Nicholson, A, B, H, I, K, and L. One, A and B is police. It's money going out. I understand the city manager has a $25,000 get-free gift to anybody that sues us. But in the last 40 years, we've gotten a number of police cars running into people. I really don't think that our police are that bad at driving. So I'm wondering whether we're not pursuing something just because it's cheaper to settle than it is to fight. So if these people are running into our police cars, if the sirens are on and they pull right into them, I think it's their fault, and I don't think we should settle. Secondly, the cameras at Daisy Stocking Park. Ken was gracious enough to give $160,000 for cameras on the beach side. Who's paying for these cameras at Daisy Stocking Park? Is Ken paying for it, or is Juanita or Paula, or is it coming out of general fund? If it's coming out of general fund, then I suggest that Ken be reimbursed for his $160,000 and he can spend it elsewhere. Third, I don't know what this I thing is for the $1 million to get a vehicle for our IP department. So $1 million sounds like an awful lot for a vehicle that I don't even know what they're going to do with it. K is roof repair. The rec center has been waiting 6 years or so to repair their roof. Is this money for the company going to help repair the rec center roof? You know, that tarp is gone a couple years ago, so the water is just pouring in again. It needs to be repaired. And FP&L Underground on Bevel, is this just a small section? I thought if we're going to do this, let's put all of our electricity underground so that when a storm comes, we're not going to be bothered by it. Because when you're without electricity, your food goes and it destroys your life. So it may be something we may want to do in the future. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Evelyn Rodriguez.
Evelyn Rodriguez, Molly Road, Daytona Beach. Yes, this mobile home or whatever for the permits and licensing, number one, $1 million for some vehicle. Where is it going to be stored? In the public works? Then we're going to have to build a hangar to protect it from the sun and rain and all that. And then we're going to have to get a contract for the maintenance of this, whatever it is. And why did we need it when the last time the permits? Well, he spoke on it, so I was going to ask if. Okay, well, then I can't talk on it. I guess I'll talk on it next time. Okay. Okay. The utilities department, let's see. Oh, yes, this thing. I thought some months ago we did have these cameras go into our sewers, but this is $250,000. Why can't we just purchase the equipment and train our employees? This way we'll have more employees, and so we're helping employment because this is $250,000. We keep outsourcing things, and it doesn't make sense to me.
Thank you.
Those were my only two speakers for the consent agenda.
Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Yes, sir, so moved.
We take a motion from Commissioner Reed and a second from Commissioner Cantu. Do we have any questions or comments? All right, all those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those in opposition, same sign. This motion carries 7-0.
Okay, we're going to move on to item number 9, which is our public hearings and quasi-judicial hearings. Item number 9A is Growth Management and Planning Department, Floor and Decor, Daytona Beach, Proportionate Fair Share Agreement. This is a resolution public hearing. A resolution approving the Floor and Decor Daytona Beach Proportionate Fair Share Agreement between the City, Floor and Decor Outlets of America, Inc., the developer, and the County of Volusia, providing for the developer to pay a proportionate share contribution to Volusia County in relation to the development of retail sales building, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute the agreement and providing an effective date.
We have a motion, Commissioner Cantu, and a second from Commissioner May.
And I do have Mr. Jerry Posey here on behalf of the applicant for any questions.
Do we have any questions for Mr. Posey? No questions? All right, no speakers?
No other speakers.
No other speakers. All right, all those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those in opposition, same sign. That motion carries 7-0.
Moving on to item 9B is a Growth Management Planning Department, United Presbyterian Church. This is a semi-public use permit, and there is a request to continue this item until the May 15th, 2024 City Commission meeting at 6 p.m.
Motion to continue.
We have a motion from Commissioner Reed and a second from Commissioner May. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those in opposition, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
And move on to item 9C, it's a Public Works Department approval of warranty deed, license agreement, and plat for Greenway subdivision. This is a resolution public hearing. A resolution relating to the proposed Greenway residential subdivision located east of LPGA Boulevard and Municipal Stadium, approving the conveyance of a strip of city land located along the southern boundary of the Municipal Stadium site to Volusia County by special warranty deed for the construction of a segment of Dunn Avenue extending eastward from LPGA Boulevard to and through the subdivision. Approving a license agreement with Inya Group, LLC, the subdivision developer, authorizing Inya Group to enter upon the stadium site to make modifications associated with the Dunn Avenue extension, authorizing the city manager to execute the deed and the plat, authorizing the mayor to execute the license agreement, and providing an effective date.
We'll take a motion from Commissioner Henry and a second from Commissioner Cantu.
Okay. And I do have Jessica Gow here on behalf of the applicant for any questions and no other speakers.
All right, no questions? All right, all those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye. Aye. Those in opposition, same sign. This motion carries 7-0.
Okay. Now we're going to move on to item number 10, which is our introduction of ordinances. This is for commissioner comments and questions only. Item 10A is the Growth Management and Planning Department, Second Amendment to the LPGA Super Wash Express 3 PD rezoning. This is an introduction of an ordinance on first reading. An ordinance approving the Second Amendment to the LPGA Super Wash Express 3 Plan District Agreement to allow a liquor or package store on Lot 2 of the Plan District, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute the Second Amendment, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date. And are there questions or comments from the commission on this item? Okay, the public hearing and final action is set for May 15th. Moving on to item 10B, it's a Growth Management and Planning Department, First Amendment to Daytona Center Plan Development, Redevelopment. This is an introduction of an ordinance on first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning map of the Land Development Code to rezone 7.7 plus or minus acres of property located at 1008 West International Speedway Boulevard from PDG Plan Development General to PDRD Plan Development Redevelopment, approving the amended and restated Daytona Center Plan District Agreement to incorporate the property rezoned above into the existing plan district and to allow additional uses, landscaping, and parking, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute the agreement, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date. And are there any questions or comments from the commission on this item? Okay, the public hearing and final action is set for May 15th. Moving on to item 10C, it's a Growth Management and Planning Department, Third Amendment to Memorial Health System PD rezoning. This is an introduction of an ordinance on first reading. An ordinance approving the Third Amendment to the Memorial Health Systems, Inc. Plan District Agreement to remove limitations on the maximum number of permitted hospital beds in the plan development property, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute the Third Amendment, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date. And are there questions or comments from the commission on this item? The public hearing and final action is set for May 15th. Moving on to item 10D, it's a Growth Management and Planning Department Redevelopment Board Approval Requirements, Land Development Code Text Amendment. This is an introduction of an ordinance on first reading. An ordinance amending Article 2 and Article 3 of the Land Development Code to modify procedures for redevelopment board application review prior to planning board review under certain circumstances, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date. And are there any questions or comments from the commission on this item? The public hearing and final action is set for May 15th. Moving on to item 10E, it's a Growth Management and Planning Department U-Haul Small Scale Comprehensive Plan Amendment. This is an introduction of an ordinance on first reading. An ordinance adopting a small scale comprehensive plan amendment in accordance with Section 163.3187 of the Florida statutes, amending the future land use map designation of 4.6 plus or minus acres of property generally located at the northwest corner of West International Speedway Boulevard and North Lincoln Street from school SCH to mixed-use medium intensity MUMI, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date. Are there questions or comments on this item from the commission? The public hearing and final action is set for May 15th. Moving on to item 10F, it's a Growth Management and Planning Department U-Haul Plan Development, Redevelopment, Rezoning. This is an introduction of an ordinance on first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning map of the Land Development Code to rezone 4.6 plus or minus acres of property generally located at the northwest corner of West International Speedway Boulevard and North Lincoln Street from RDM4, Redevelopment Midtown University Transition, to PDRD, Planned Development Redevelopment, approving the U-Haul Daytona Planned Redevelopment District Agreement to authorize self-storage and propane tank filling stations as an ancillary use to the existing primary use, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute the agreement, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date. And are there any questions or comments from the commission on this item? The public hearing and final action is set for May 15th. Okay, so we're going to move on to item number 11, which is our administrative items. Our first item is 11A. It's the City Manager's Office Code Enforcement Board appointment resolution. This is a resolution appointing one member to the Code Enforcement Board to fill a term ending August 23rd, 2026, and providing an effective date. We have 5 applicants: John Kenyon, Scott Keene, Colleen Cullinan, Bradford Gonzalez, and David Poe. And if you look in the green folder that was put on in front of you on the dais, if you guys can just pick who you'd like to appoint, make sure you put your name on it and pass it this way, and we'll. Thank you.
Well, do we have any comments from the commission while we're doing that? Is there any comments on this item? No? Okay, because you can make a comment. I've already voted, but.
No, just the one. Thank you. Commissioner May is Colleen Cullinan. Commissioner Strickland is Bradford Gonzalez. Monica Paris is Colleen Cullinan. The mayor, Bradford Gonzalez. I'll slow down. Paula Reed is John Kenyon. Stacy Cantu is Bradford Gonzalez. And Commissioner Henry is John Kenyon.
Bradford Gonzalez.
Bradford
3 votes.
Gonzalez. Okay.
3 votes.
Can I get a motion to appoint Bradford? Okay.
Can we get a motion to appoint? Have a motion, Commissioner May, and a second, Commissioner Strickland. Appointment of Bradford Gonzalez. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those in opposition, same sign.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-1.
Okay.
Why didn't you take it?
Moving on to item 11B is our second appointment this evening. There's the City Manager's Office, Daytona Beach Racing and Rec Facility. This is for one appointment, a resolution appointing one member to the Daytona Beach Racing and Recreational Facilities District Commission for a term expiring July 1st, 2028, and providing an effective date. The membership term of George Burden expires on July 1st, 2024, and he would like to continue to serve. There are 3 additional applicants: John Kenyon, Leon McCrae, and Dave Poe.
Do you have any speakers on this item?
I do have a speaker on this item, Mr. John Nicholson.
John Nicholson, 413 North Grandview Avenue. I've spoken before about people going on the board. Now, I've known George 20 years. He and I did not get along when he was on commission,
Of course.
but like the mayor. What happens is, many of the people that serve on this commission leave, and you never see them again, okay? Chris Travis sat in one 25 years ago. I've not seen her anywhere. George at least shows up. I've been trying to get Kelly to show up, to do something. The former clerk, Gwen Asma Edwards, Percy Williams. People that work for the city who come before us or elected body, we don't see them anymore. And the question is why? All right? Why do people serve 8, 10 years on the commission and then they vanish completely? We need their input. We really do, because they know what's happening. All right? So it's not that I'm supporting George, but the fact is he's the only one. Where are the rest of them? Where are the employees that have left? Okay, Jennifer Thomas pops up, I think, twice in the last 15 years since she's been gone. So I don't know what I'm saying, other than the fact is there's a dearth of commitment to the community once they leave. So I'm asking, well, actually, I can ask that you guys, when you leave, come back and help out the city. Serve on a board, give your input, whatever. Thank you.
And the person went as Edwards, and she's a wheel in the community, continuing to serve in churches. And the person of Percy Williamson, he's a major wheel on many areas of the city, making great things happen. Jennifer Thomas is a major wheel in her church and doing great things and continues to make a mean red velvet cake. These people continue to be deeply involved in the community. They just don't want to show up down here.
And then also Kelly White continues to serve on the board downtown, and you see her. They are still serving, maybe not at the commission, but they're using their concepts, their ideas, and they are promoting them in the community.
Yeah, she calls me, and yeah. So anyway, we understand that sentiment, but that one was inaccurate. You don't have my vote. Well, I hope you all. I'm not going to speak, but I hope you all voted the right way. Where's my person? Okay, Henry. I was going to support my person with a verbal, but we've already voted, so we'll see how it turns out. What's his name? There you go. Mayor. There you go.
Thank you. So the Mayor Henry, George Burden, Monica Paris, George Burden, Ken Strickland, George Burden, Commissioner May, David Poe, Stacy Cantu, George Burden, Commissioner Henry, George Burden, and Paula Reed, George Burden.
Thank you. All right, George Burden continues to serve.
If I can get
Can I
a,
get a motion?
So moved.
Motion from Commissioner Reed and a second from Commissioner Strickland. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-1.
okay. And that was our final agenda items today.
Okay, who was the first commissioner tonight? I don't
Paris.
recall. Commissioner Paris?
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to commend Habitat for Humanity. I went to a picnic for their volunteers, and they also had 7 families that burned their mortgages because they finished paying them, and they also celebrated at Bethune Point Park, so it was beautiful that they were using one of our facilities too. And they also just broke ground on another property here in Daytona Beach for 40 units, 8 single families and 16 duplexes. So just to go to show you, just like Barracks of Hope, Habitat for Humanity, all these volunteer organizations that are making things happy. And they were also at the housing fair on Saturday. And one of the main things that I think is super important is the program that people have to go through to be recipients of these homes. So they help them with financing, with their credit reports, with budgeting, which is I think is a great thing. So I will try to be volunteering with them a little bit more. Also, they had the Daytona Beach Veterans Clinic had their ground opening, ribbon cutting, which is beautiful. And I just wanted to say that I'm really glad to be part of this city, and there are a lot of good things coming on. And I just want to thank all the people, too, that did sign up to be on a board and to contribute to your community. So I appreciate it. And that's all for today. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Strick?
Daisy Stocking Park, if you hadn't been there, go check it out. It's beautiful. Had a little grand opening thing for that. And the housing fair, I was there as well, first thing in the morning. That's a great event that we put on every year. And then we had also had the seafood festival over there. And that was an excellent event as well. So when we have these events going on, if you want to be involved and be active in the community, come out to these events and see what's happening and see all the good things that are going on in our city. And that's about all I have for tonight.
All right, thank you.
So the new market movement, I'm on the DDA board downtown, and we moved the park moved the market to the corner of Magnolia and Beach Street. great positioning. People could benefit from the coffee shop. I think we saw people here, but it was a really nice change as opposed to having it further north. So very good on that one. This weekend, we have the Cinco de Mayo Festival, and the music should be great. It will be downtown, so please come and join us. And again, the DDA is a collaboration of different businesses downtown who pay into a special fund, and that is how we support the events along with some city funds, but it's the downtown merchants who pay extra tax. And so the downtown merchants are bringing about 23 new events. So we have 23 to 25 events taking place. Keep in mind, we will be having sunset concerts as well. So we're doing a lot of active things downtown. So this month is a Mental Health Awareness Month. On May 15th, I sit on the Stewart Marchman board, and they do some amazing things with Stewart Marchman, very active. And on the one hand, they're expanding their services because of need. On the other hand, we're expanding services because of need, right? All depends on how you want to really understand that double-sided statement. I do want to read to you what will be happening on May 15th. It's a program called Who is Jay? It's a one-day symposium dealing with mental health and the intersection of drugs in the community, and then also if you have multiple morbidities. So let's say you have schizophrenia or other mental health diagnoses, so dual diagnosis. I'm going to read you a little excerpt. It's going to be May 15th at the Ocean Center. You probably already know him. He's a son, a brother, a boyfriend, someone who's first kissed, the cute neighborhood kid with kicking a soccer ball, the eager child licking frosting off at the mixer beaters in someone's kitchen, the young man inspiring others on a mission trip and someone loved by you and others. He's also the unfortunate man or woman who is that 1 in 100 who receives a diagnosis of schizophrenia. With that disease, which is not a disease of choice, there are voices, delusions, and paranoia. There are challenges finding appropriate treatment. There is stigma, there is pain, and all too often there is suicide. Jay Ashby was the original inspiration for the Who is Jay campaign, but Jay really could be anyone, even you. However, there is hope and recovery is possible with appropriate treatment, and this treatment is provided through Stewart Marchman. They've been around for many years, and they've done some really, really good work. So the entire month is May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So thank you, Commissioner Paris, for starting us off. And then also, I'm not sure if we realize it, but let's say last week, it was actually last month, I'm looking for something I wrote. It was actually Alcohol Awareness Month. And I was intending to submit this to the newspaper, but I'll read it into the documents. That way it's just here. So it starts off by saying, 2 teens dead after a murder-suicide in St. Petersburg, deputies say. And I'm speaking. As a marriage and family therapist who has worked with the teen population, I was saddened to receive a recent article about 4 teens, aged 17, 18, and 2 14-year-olds engaged in alcohol, marijuana, and cocaine use. Those few hours together resulted in 2 gun deaths, 2 lives forever changed, families in varying degrees of mourning, anger, and regret, and 2 families with dead children. Did we ever dream that we'd be at the intersection of alcohol, marijuana, cocaine, a gun, and our families? April was Alcohol Awareness Month. I invite communities to reflect on the relationship with alcohol, how it impacts society, and the effect it has on well-being. And I invite you to take a look at the effect of mental health. And mental health is not just physical well-being, I feel good. Mental health is the other side, the darker side. And it happens every single day in all our lives with every single microaggression that we encounter between us as individuals. They eventually add up, and they will cause illness, and they will cause inflammation, and they will cause a disease process that happens slowly over time. So to that end, I invite you all to please join us May 15th at the Convention Center for Who is Jay, and it's with Stewart Marchman. Thank you so much.
What's it called again?
Who is Jay? And it's Who is Jay? They do it every single year. It's their 9th event this year. And they get mental health professionals from all over the areas. They come and they speak about newest research, newest data, and what's going on in the communities, treatment plans.
Okay, Thank you. Commissioner Cantu. Okay, all right. Commissioner Henry.
Just a couple of things tonight, Mr. Mayor. I got some calls about the Daisy Stocking Park, and People are very excited about it and telling me how beautiful it is. But is a little bit of misinformation out there. People are thinking that, will the park be closed all day and only available for renting? Is that how that's going to work?
Yes, the park is a rental facility. However, there will be fun days that take place at the park that will be open with staff members there. So it is not just a general open park all the time, every day. It's more of a rental, but we will have fun days at the park that will be open for the citizens.
Okay, thank you. On Monday coming up, we will have Neighborhood Watch at Living Faith Church, where our very own chief will be there to address the people in the community. And we have not had him in a while, so we're excited to have him, and it should be a good crowd. So if you are in Zone 5 and you would like to come out and hear some of the things that the chief is going to address us on, come on out. Next, congratulations to the West Side Elementary School, and let me tell you why. Each year, the school board has a battle of the books. All 30 elementary schools participate in the Battle of the Books program, but only one school comes out as the winner. And these are schools from all over the county. Well, Westside Elementary School is our 2024 Battle of the Books champions. And that is really big because Westside Elementary is a Title I school. So they were competing with all the schools that have funding. And so it was a very big deal for Westside Elementary to win this honor. So we're going to be supporting them and getting them out in the community. We're going to invite them to commission meetings so that we can honor them and celebrate them. And I always say strong schools build strong communities. And one of the things that I have been pushing since we began with the ARPA funds, well, before ARPA funds, is books in schools. Books in schools, all schools, not just inner city schools. Every school needs access to books. And the more that I'm at a school that is not a Title I school and not an inner city school where I am teaching currently, children need books. It just does not matter what community they come from. And so I think we've set a strong foundation for letting the community know that as a commission, we believe in books by buying book vending machines. Most of you have bought, if you have a school in your zone, have bought a book vending machine, and you've bought those machines, and you've told the people in the community that you believe in education and that you believe in books, and it's working. It's working in our communities. We only have one school now, which is Beachside Elementary, that does not have a book vending machine, and I'm sure they would appreciate one. And those are my comments for tonight, and thank you.
Let me add before you go, Commissioner, so I don't have to come back to the book championship. It's really a big deal because, one, you, like you said, they're competing against 30 other schools, and to my knowledge, they had never won this, and it's a intense competition. They're given 10 books the start of the year. They read those 10 books, and they are a team, and then they all sit down and they answer the questions about the book. Well, the West Side team got a perfect score in round 1, got a perfect score in round 2, and a perfect score in round 3. And not that anybody was going to cheat, but I told a lady who was a former school board assistant superintendent for the schools the other day, I say, you can't beat perfection. And perfection only happens in one way, hard work. Those kids had to read those books. And I think Westside was the first school to get a book vending machine, or the second.
First school.
First school. And of course, that was Commissioner Henry's school when she was in kindergarten. And I won't tell that story tonight.
And then
Palm Terrace was second. And then Champion.
And then Turity.
And then Turity. Okay, so the fact that these, I think it's not lost that these schools, that they had this machine, because you are sending a message. And so now what I hope is done is that there's a celebration to send a message to all of the children in that school that says that reading matters. 'Cause there's nothing more important that you can do from an academic perspective than bury your nose in a book and, process information and learn how to, and then talk about it with adults. Talk about it with adults and with kids, and that's how you really build the foundational skills for excellent citizenship. So proud, I get proud about state championships,
Right.
but I get bubbly proud about reading. And I can't overstate my excitement and how I'm excited. I'm going to be there for the celebration, whenever it is, and I'm going to eat some ice cream or cake or whatever we have for them and do whatever we can to push them even further, because great, great accomplishment from children who are typically labeled as at risk. And I know the children who are on the team, know their families, taught the star students daddy, so I, proud doesn't begin to express my sentiments. Commissioner Reed?
Commissioner Strickland wants to say something.
She tried to embarrass me. That school's in my zone.
I didn't know that. I really thought,
They're gonna get
I really didn't know it was in your zone for real. I did not know that.
I
thought it was in Paris.
You thought it was what?
They thought
You
it was
took a shot at her and hit me. Thanks a lot.
He already told, he told Letitia to put it on the agenda.
And I want to say that this school, Westside, beat my school, which is the school that I teach at, which is Tomoka Elementary, and we've been the Battle of the Books champions for the past 7 years. Tomoka has been the Battle of the Books champion for 7 years, and so we got knocked out of the top. And the person who was over Battle of the Books at my school called to tell me all about it, and she said, you got to do something because this is big time. She said, it doesn't get any more big time than this. She said, I didn't want to lose, because she's highly competitive. She said, I didn't want to lose, but she said, this is a big deal. The community has to go out and celebrate these children because they were not supposed to beat Tomoka Elementary. They were not supposed to. And so we're super excited about making sure that we get out and celebrate these champions and working on a Champs Day or something like that for the little ones. But I did not know, and thank you very much.
Okay, I'll let you off the hook if you'll announce what time your Zone 5 meeting is.
It is at 7 o'clock on Monday. Yes.
And when we have the championship parade or whatever we're doing, something, right? What do you call it? Something big. We have a state championship team in this town. This team should be as pronounced for us as the championship football team.
Absolutely.
That's just the way we feel about
Certainly.
it. That's how great this is.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I want to thank everybody in the
Short time.
I want to thank the people on the commission who stepped up and started buying those book vending machines, because it's made a difference. If you, even to this day right now, those schools, if you go to their Facebook page, they're posting those children getting those books, and you see the children, their faces are lighting up because they're still getting access to books. And so it's making a big difference in the community. So when people say we should not be using our ARPA funds in schools, they are wrong. That's exactly where we should be using our ARPA funds. I looked at my classroom today, and I teach 3rd grade, and my 3rd graders are the kindergartners from COVID. And when I tell you the loss is profound, because I consider myself a great teacher, but catching them up from that loss from COVID, we're still feeling the effects of it. And like I said, I'm at a more influential school, so the need is great. And so thank you, Paula, so much, because you stepped up and got a book vending machine. Thank you so much to you all who saw that was a great need in our community. Ken stepping up, I appreciate it. Thank you all so much.
Yeah, awesome.
And if you want to give books, just call the school so they can tell you how to keep those book vending machines filled, because now the goal has to be keeping them filled so that children have access to them.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And are incentivized. They use them as a reward too in a lot of ways. Commissioner Reed, sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Speaking of children and celebrating, although this date is a little far off, I want to keep it in front of us, and that's regarding Riverview Elementary. That the We Care celebration for Embry-Riddle, Jesus, you know who feeds me, right? Well, actually, you know what? Actually, I went to Riverview, but it was not. It was,
different school.
It was a different school back then. But anyway, on May 29th from 10:30 to 1 p.m., there's going to be a We Care celebration celebrating over 20 years of community partnership between Riverview Learning Center and the Seabreeze Neighborhood Watch. And we need to go out and support them and let those children know we care and that they are somebody, and that regardless of where they are, their education is profound and it's worthy of them. So let's, I'll keep announcing this. We have another meeting.
And Commissioner Strickland is providing the food for that event.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Strickland.
Awesome.
I'm trying to get there. I've said I wasn't coming because I work at that time and it's hard to get away, but I'm trying because they deserve to be acknowledged and to know how important we appreciate, them and the staff. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I just want, everyone has said something this evening about the two things that I am very pleased that the city has adopted and has helped me to bring to fruition. When you talk about 3 pavilions, 18 picnic tables, and a seawall featuring a timeline of Daisy Stockings' remarkable life and contributions, when you look at the fact that we have invested with the help of the African American, I got my little notes here, y'all, the assistance from the Florida African American Cultural and Historical Grant Program, as well as Daytona Beach Racing and Recreational Facilities District. $2.6 million were spent on Daisy Stocking Park. And if you haven't had a chance to go in to see it and to know who Daisy is, the park tells it all. But for those who haven't, we're going to share a little bit with you tonight. Roll it, Xavier. It's a beautiful aerial shot, one we can use in our next promo of our city as we continue to brand ourselves. But I want you to know that Daisy Stocking came here as on the urging of Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune. Back in the day when there was separation between our communities, Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune brought a black hospital to Daytona, and Daisy came and ran that hospital. And if you saw the gentleman in the black shirt next to me cutting the ribbon, that was Daisy Stocking's great-grandson who joined us. And his legacy is from the Crosland family, the Dr. Croslands. I didn't know Dr. Crosland was Daisy Stocking's daughter. And he's the child of one of her children. So a lot of history was learned that day, and we have a beautiful facility that we can be proud of. It's always been great, but it's even better now. And is David Waller still in the building? David, are you still here? Is that him? You saying me? Come on out here. Oh, okay. David, I just want to commend you and your staff for your vision, your dream of, this will probably be your landmark feature. Well, I got another project for you though. for the City of Daytona Beach. It's a beautiful, beautiful job. The engineers, the architects, your vision on this, the sales, everything is absolutely gorgeous. I was going to write the city manager and tell him this in an email, but I wanted to say it personally and be on the record, and for my constituents and my colleagues also to hear this from me, that we're very proud of you and what you've done for us, and we thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's not our last project.
Say it again?
I said, I hope it's not our last project.
Oh, no, no, no.
She said that, I'm like, oh, no.
No. I threw in, I got another project for you.
Oh, no.
You got one too, Mayor? All right, so
All of
then,
them, that's mine too. All right.
yes.
I'm right with you.
So, whether it was crabs, lobster, shrimp, conch, it doesn't matter, even if you don't eat seafood. I don't know where these people came from, but they were there. This was our third annual Daytona Beach Crab and Seafood Festival. Commissioner Strickland, Commissioner Paris, Mayor Henry, and you know the manager was there. But I want to thank you all for taking time out of your schedule to join me on that day. Brittany Presley, Betty Goodman, Katie, how do you say Katie's last name? Presswood, Keith Willis, Dwayne Murray Jr., Vincent Terry, and I have Mayor Henry, Commissioner Strickland in Paris, police, fire, traffic, public works, all of our citizens and guests who came and attended. It was a beautiful day. We had a little bit of sprinkle that morning and we got a little nervous, but I had a talk with Mother Nature. And the storm passed over until 30 minutes before it was to end. And as a result, that helped us get it cleaned up quicker. But you know what? As it continues to grow, I think it's going to be something that the state is going to know about, and not just our city or surrounding area, because it was really, really phenomenal. And in its third year, it was just absolutely great. And I want to thank staff for meeting with me on a regular basis to organize and to share. These are some of our food trucks that were there, the people that were there. We started at 11 a.m. and at 8:30, it was still going strong. These look like pictures from when we first got started at the beginning of the day, but it was wall-to-wall people, you all. And everybody was getting along, everybody was supporting each other, the lines were long, and people were being patient with each other. It was just a beautiful thing. It really, really was. And folks, oh, look at Muriel. Folks from all over, I'm going to tell you what I said. I said it looks like heaven, because they were black, white, young, old, children, dogs, pets, different cultures, backgrounds, and everybody was just having a good time, eating together, laughing together, enjoying the music that was provided and the entertainment that was provided. It was a great day. And our food trucks came from all over the state. They weren't just locals, but they came from all over the state in support of this. We had 30 food vendors and 6 accessory vendors. And that's the largest that we've had in regards to participation of vendors. And again, this was our third year. So it's going to just get better and better. Even when we're gone, the Daytona Beach Crab and Seafood Festival will continue. And I'm honored to be look at those blue crabs, y'all. Honored to be a host of this event. And thank you again to staff for supporting that. And Mr. Mayor, that concludes my comments.
Awesome job. And I'll mention the Seafood Festival. They had these boiled peanuts. I'd never had any boiled peanuts quite like those. And little Derek was asking, how do they make these? I said, I don't know. Neither of us are cooks. But we make sure we come back again next year, because they were the best boiled peanuts I think I ever had. Commissioner Paris? Yeah. Okay. She was first, so it's on me. I will simply say and I said this to the manager, we have to make certain that when we have things like Daisy Stocking, that we make certain that I can be there. I can't miss that. So we can't do that, not for, at least for the next 6 months while I'm there. It was the park, I went by that morning before I went to support the Daytona Beach gymnastics team in Perry, Florida, which they did a great job. They represented our city well, and my 8-year-old did her thing. But I will say that the park is, it's celestial. It's beautiful. And I think if we have anything to be proud of as a city over the last 12, 15 years or more, is the restoration of parks throughout the city, and that is probably a hallmark of what we've been able to accomplish. And it's a fundamental, foundational piece of creating a great community. You know, I've said this before, that one of the signs of a healthy community is when people live within 10 minutes of a park. You know, and we want to continue to grow in that direction and increase our percentage and make our parks, world class. And certainly this one is, it just kind of, like she says, it kind of blows you off your feet when you walk the park and experience it. And then, I was Harlem Park, or what's the name of the park, the formal name, Joe Harris. We have to understand the history of Daytona Beach. These parks really illustrate the history of who we are. And I did know that Dr. Crosland, who, I remember my mother always telling the story of me going to Dr. Crosland and getting my shots for school as a 4-year-old. And she says, well, I'm going to give you a shot. And, I thought that she was going to give me a shot with a gun. It's like, no. But I did know that was her, you just probably forgot, because she was the continuation of her mother. And, for those of us born in the 60s and 70s, Dr. Crosland was our pediatrician. And she did it, and her husband was, Dr. Crosland, the husband, was the adult physician for many minorities. And so she was a continuation of the legacy of Dr. Bethune. And this park, and how Madam Daisy's legacy can't be overstated, but it's, to have it entrenched in the core of our city and to now have it really reflect the eloquence and the beauty of her life. I just think, you thank the staff, but we certainly want to commend you, the entire team. Amazing job. One such person said on my site, he said it's like a breath of fresh air for the whole community. That's how he described it, and he lives right adjacent to the park. And so let's just onward, and let's just continue to do great things in this way. And while there is much more to be said, I will hold the remaining remarks for the next commission meeting. That concludes my remarks. Mr. Manager?
Just thank the staff for the support that they give to all the commissioners in their initiatives.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I have nothing, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. We will now hear from the residents of Daytona Beach.
Our first speaker is John Nicholson, and on deck is Arletha Baxter.
So,
John Nicholson, 413 North Grandview Avenue. I was speaking with somebody in the lobby earlier and mentioned the fact that the 7-Eleven on Ridgewood is closing, all right, and they were shocked, all right. Then I mentioned that the Walgreens on Beachside was closing, or had already closed. So we had that, and then CVS, of course, right downtown is closed. We're just not aware. These things happen. If I mentioned to you that there are still 7 hotels closed from 5 years ago from this hurricane. 7 large hotels, not the small ones, the big 100 to 200 unit ones. Americana Hotel is still closed. It's not going anywhere. There is one right off of University. They're adding 2 additional floors. They're finally renovating. The Marriott Regency, knock on wood, is supposed to open up in 2 months. They're getting very, very close. It'll change things on the beach side.
yeah, it will.
I spoke to the mayor maybe a month ago. Something that I observed, that we are getting another senior housing location off of Beach Street. We have 5 major senior housing off of Beach Street already, all right? That does not bode well for the renovation or the improvement of downtown. To add more seniors doesn't help. Seniors generally don't go out to nightclubs on a Friday and Saturday night. They don't run out to the latest activities. They don't go to the coffee shops and the quaint little shops. They don't have the money to spend. It affects us, and we have to be aware of what we're doing. Affordable housing. What are we doing with affordable housing? How does that affect our business community? As you know, we'll lose business each additional affordable housing that we put in. All right? Look at the overall, and which is what we don't do. We don't realize that there are things, and there are businesses that are closed all over the place because we've seen them, we drive past them all the time, and you forget it's just when another one closes. So where are we as a community, and our business community, and our tourism? There's supposed to be an event coming up, Memorial Day. We're busy on Beachside on Memorial Day every year. It's really bad with graduation. There's supposed to be a truck event coming as well, and an Invade Daytona, all on the same weekend. So what is our tourism going to look like next year, the year after, if we don't pay attention to it? So I'm asking you to think about that. Thank you.
We built 12,000 units west of 95 in that area. We're going to have somewhere for senior citizens and poor people to live. And I don't care where it is, but they're going to be somewhere. Whether it's downtown, midtown, outtown, beachside, LPGA, they're going to have somewhere to live, and we're going to continue to support that. So if it's going to affect downtown, so be it. Seniors got to have somewhere to live. Yes.
Our next speakers are Letha Baxter, and on deck is Lakeisha Hollins.
Good evening, Mayor Henry and the City Commission panel, everyone in their respective places. My name is Letha Baxter. I'm the founder and CEO of the STEEP House, and that STEEP, the acronym for STEEP, is Stop Trafficking, Exploitation, and Emphasize Prevention. I think I emailed each of you maybe about a month or so ago, as well as I provided each of you with a hard copy of our second annual event. We were pleased to have a successful event last year, and we're here this evening inviting you all once again and hoping that we can get someone from the panel to attend. And the reason why I state that is because July 2023, there was a case where a gentleman here in Daytona was sentenced to life for trafficking a young lady from Port Orange, and she had been beaten so severely that she is now blind. And this happened right on US 1. He was conducting the activity right out of a hotel right up the street from us. So human trafficking is here. It's in our neighborhoods. It's in our community. Florida ranks third in the nation for human trafficking. However, a lot of us may or may not know that familial trafficking is most prevalent. And familial trafficking is a child. It normally starts with a child being trafficked by someone in their family. With the rents and the rent skyrocketing, the first child that I had taken care of, she was trafficked by her dad because he couldn't pay the rent to the landlord. So we again appreciate you all. Thank you all for you all assisting us last year. We're going to go ahead and stay at the YSG this year. It's on June 1st. The second annual event is on June 1st at 4 o'clock. Dinner will be served, and we would like to see, hopefully can see one of you all there. And last but not least, to ask whether or not we can try to get some support from you all again. I'm bringing in a survivor from Sarasota, Florida. Her name is Gabrielle Triplett. When she went to turn in she was tired of her life, and she went to turn in her trafficker. He shot her and she lived. And so she and I have been in regular communication with each other, and she wants to come and bring her story to Daytona. So I want to thank you all again for your time, and hopefully we can all get together and we can fight this heinous crime that's going on right in our neighborhood.
Ms. Baxter, tell us briefly, if you can remember, where the I-4 corridor specifically ranks in trafficking, because I think it's like third or fourth in the country with trafficking, which is the I-4 corridor, which is what we're on, right?
Absolutely, yes. The statistics that I have gathered, we do it by the state, and so you're exactly right. Florida ranks third next to California and Texas, because with California and Texas, we are talking now with human smuggling. Then there's a difference in between the trafficking and the smuggling. And I specialize in trafficking of children between the ages of 7 and 17. And I'm actually a foster parent. I fostered 35 girls, and out of the 35, 4 I knew that they had been trafficked, and 3 I didn't know, and I didn't find out until we were just at the dinner table talking, which is why I founded the Steep House. And because I felt like the children were verbalizing their issue and it was falling on deaf ears with their case manager, the guardian ad litem. They have so many different people in places to help them. They was not able to tell their story to everybody. And one young lady sat down and shared her story with me, and she's missing now because unfortunately she snuck a cell phone into the home and reconnected with the trafficker. He heard my voice and he told her he wasn't willing to try to come get her from me because he heard me, and he got her back to Kissimmee and he picked her up from in the DCF parking lot in Kissimmee. And she's missing to this day.
Wow. So what are some things that the Steep House does for girls who have been trafficked?
Right now, we're providing education, advocacy, and we recently was introduced to a young lady who actually was a student at Bethune-Cookman, and she didn't want to go back home, and we were connected with her, and myself and my director here, Carmen Clark, we were able to get her temporary housing until she was able to get back on the campus because she didn't want to return back home when school was out. So we are connected with a therapist at a helping hand, and right now it's all community outreach with the exception of the young ladies who I deal with personally.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem.
One more thing. Could you break down for us what the need is? Like, do you need for the facility? Do you need for the food?
We've secured the facility. Right now, we're expecting about 150, keep my fingers crossed, we're expecting about 150 individuals there. So I'm just trying to, with the exception of the one part of the foods I've already covered, maybe like this, it's foods on the dessert side and the drink side. But other than that, the main entree, I've taken care of that personally myself. Thank you.
Well, you got to take care of everything.
You'll definitely hear from us you'll definitely hear from me. I can only speak for me because I know the need is great in our community and in our county for trafficking.
Yes. And
we had someone here recently and she was talking about trafficking and I couldn't remember the name of your program. I was trying to get her to connect with you, but she has been talking about trafficking in the county and the city as well.
My ultimate goal is to secure a safe house on the outside of our city, and because I've gotten so many calls, and it's a task. It's a task. I have 26 cameras up now, so but I'm thankful that I haven't had any issues. I'm thankful that I haven't had any issues.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Mhm.
Have a good evening.
Any other questions? Any more questions? No, we were just asking, was there any more questions?
You will hear from me also. Thank you.
Thank you all. I do have a success story. One of my last adult, she's an adult now, young lady who just, she just graduated high school. She is attending Daytona State College, works at a local grocery store, and has purchased her own car. And so she's doing fairly well. She is not from here, she's from Orlando, and she's doing well considering what she's been through. And her trafficker, one was sentenced to 2 life sentences, and the other, the initial trafficker was sentenced to 20 years because she took a plea deal. And I assisted her with her deposition and everything up to the door, and they're now in the Florida State Prison System.
So your program on next Saturday, on Saturday the 1st, the objective of it is to educate and to advocate and to inform and to encourage and to draw out these victims so that they will feel comfortable.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm sponsoring a table of 8 teenagers that are going to be coming from where I work at Campbell Middle School.
Okay, and the time of this?
It's doors open at 4, and Sheriff Chitwood is going to be doing our welcome, and we're going to try to start serving dinner right around 4:30, 4:40 to get the program moving.
I have one more question.
Yes.
You just said something. So what's a table sponsorship?
The table sponsorship is, if it's a full table of 8, it's $350. If it's individual, then it's $50. But if it's a table of 8, it's $350.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Thank you all so much. I appreciate each and every one of you.
I have one more thing.
Okay, go ahead.
If you have people who cannot afford to attend, how would they know that they can attend if we bought a table?
Myself as well as Ms. Clark are available to speak to you to get that person's name, because we are going to have a list along with, just say for instance, if any of you all were to come and you all are going to be on the VIP list, that person will be included on that name as long as you all notify us and let us know. I have no issue with that because this is imperative.
And how will you all will reach out to people in the community as well and say, hey, we have someone who's purchased a table. You'll be able to bring in other girls and things like that, because I'm thinking so many other mentoring programs. I really believe young people need to, and I know trafficking is for boys too, because people don't realize that trafficking is big for boys. Yeah. But I'm thinking of the mentoring programs that they have that we could bring in girls to make sure that they.
If you just let me know which mentoring program it is, as well as the head count, I have it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it for real.
All right. Okay. All right.
Well, you have it. Okay, I'll talk to you all. Let's just keep up the good work. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you.
I do.
I know.
That's how passionate I am about it. I'll take care of it if I have to.
We're gonna help you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Have a good evening.
You too, thank you. Our next speaker is Lakeisha Hollins, and on deck is Felicia, is it Bonzo? Benzo.
Mayor, commissioners, y'all are very hard people to get in contact with. I'm here as the CEO of Catalyst Global Youth Initiatives, which is a program that has been serving the entire Volusia County area, young people. We mentor one-on-one. We have 2 group mentoring programs. One is DREAM, it's at Campbell Middle School. The FIRE program just started 3 years ago for females out of a need to have a place where the young ladies could build and develop their self-awareness, other awareness, confidence, and understand the focus is on them. It's what they want to be, do, and have. Those two programs result in immediate changes in their grades, no referrals by March. And they're on their way to graduation. All the mentoring programs, both one-on-one and group, have 100% graduation starting 2019, because it takes us a while. We're a long-term mentoring program. We also have another program that comes up this summer. It's called the Summer Literacy and Leadership Academy, which Ms. Reed supported 2 years ago. It's going to be at Mainland. This program is awesome. It's nonstop for 6 weeks. Gets these kids going. Would like you all to come and see our kids. It's about their social, emotional intelligence and how we can build it and grow it and develop it so that they don't land up in sex trafficking, because they know who they are, what they want to be, and what they want to do, and they stay on track. So that's this. But what I'm really here for today is what I have here, an example of the budget. How is it that we live in a county, all the 3 major cities that we serve, Deltona, DeLand, and Daytona, don't have a comprehensive work preparation program for your youth from 15 to 18? If you don't engage them, if you don't prepare them, they get into stuff they're not supposed to be in. It becomes free will for the drugs, the vaping, the drinking, and the fooling around. They become fields for these predators in our community. We served for 3 years, 3 times through the, the source. The Career Source provided funds for us to do that. You should see how happy those kids are. And the last thing I want to say, they're looking for this opportunity to work, not to sit around and, be somebody's shadow, but to work. And they get paid $1,500 for 6 weeks. Ain't that awesome? Thank you. I'm asking you to consider putting a pocket of money aside so I can help these young people during the summer. I brought a parent here so that she can just talk to you briefly. I'm sorry, I took up some of your time. Yes, you did.
You're
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I'm Lakeisha.
Okay.
That's Lakeisha Hollins.
Yes, I'm Lakeisha Hollins. I also I have a mentoring program as well, a Rising Phenomenal Princesses, where I mentor young ladies. And what I'm experiencing with the young ladies is a lot of self-harm. The last young lady that I just had, she literally cut herself across the face, like her eye, and that's how we found out that she was self-harming. So after I met Dr. Benzo and some of the programs that she said that she offered through her program, I partnered with her. And I was asking her about the jobs and having things set up for the summer, because I'm trying to because I have a child care facility as well. And my child care facility, I take them from 6 weeks to 12. After that, I can't do anything with them. So I'm partnering with other programs that offering services so we can have something for them to do for the summer. Right. So I just wanted to come and just say that we really do need the jobs, because like I say, I don't have anything to offer them. They'll get bored sitting at the child care facility. So if Dr. Benzo program is open, I have somewhere that I can send the parents to see if the children are interested in working. And I did look over her program. It's an excellent program. They talk about literacy, bank. They learn about finances and everything. And this is the kind of stuff that they need. So I'm asking as well that you all be able to invest into her program so that I'll be able to pass the siblings of my children that I have to her program for the summer.
It's progressive. It's progressive. Then they're an adult out.
Yes, and that's it.
That's it.
I want to thank the two of you for partnering and working together, because one of the things that I am increasingly frustrated by is the newness in the individuality of servant-oriented individuals in our community. A lot of times that's what we see, and we see a redundancy. We see the passion, and one of the things I it's not a knock on you all, but we've got to unify and bring all of these individuals together under more of a collective tent because you can get more done
Right,
in collaboration than you can in isolation.
yes.
So thank you for partnering. And I want to mention something. The manager, how many churches do we have in this area, Midtown? Y'all, anybody know how many? I want that to be noted because that's one of the things that, and I'm not ashamed, I'm a church guy. But I'm going to come back and talk about that because I do want us to realize, even in that institution, we need some collaboration.
Yes.
We need to stop just popping up everywhere, you know. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so very much for this opportunity.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Our next speaker is Bradford Gonzalez, and on deck is Marjorie Johnson.
Got it, yeah.
3 more.
Yeah, I understand.
Well, good evening, everyone.
Good evening. I'll stick around this time now.
Thank you very much for showing your confidence in me and returning me to the code enforcement.
Why did you get, what happened? Why did you get off the code enforcement?
Because I had a heart issue that went down, so I had to take a leave.
Okay.
That's why I had to step out. But I was with the City of Sanford Code Enforcement for 4 years, and I was with us for 3 years. So I know code enforcement pretty good. And so glad to be back. Commissioner Reed, thank you very much for bringing up We Care celebration. Did you all get the email about it? Good. So I put on my green sheet advocacy, because advocacy, when you advocate for children or whatever you advocate for, it has to be consistent and it has to be without the politics, especially when it's dealing with children. And we're caught up in a case in this situation where myself and the principal, Tom Soley, we are the coordinators. We are putting this together. It was our idea and we put it together. However, when it comes to the food thing, I don't know anything about what's happening. And I initiated with Ken the issue of the food. But I haven't heard anything else except that Ken appointed somebody else to coordinate with the manager, and we're being left out of the picture. So, no, I can deal with him, but he doesn't want to communicate with me. So I'm bringing it to the board.
One of you called me and one of you sent me a text message. I've done everything I could. I got Ted back there's gonna cook, and Ruby worked up on this today.
I got him right here, but that's
I thought everything was good. I hadn't heard from you. If I don't hear from you, everything's good.
No, I talked to Ted. I have
to
talked
Ann
to
Ruby?
him, yeah. To who?
Ann Ruby. You talked to
Ann
Ann
Ruby,
Ruby?
I don't have nothing to do with Ann Ruby. Who is she?
Sure you do.
No, I don't.
She's working on your list for your food.
Oh, okay, well, Ann Ruby should have called me, and the city manager should have let us know, because we are coordinating this. Well, it's my understanding that Ann Ruby's coordinating with the city manager. So I'm glad I'm bringing it up to clear it up, because we are putting this together for these children.
That's correct.
And we don't want to play community division.
I'm not playing.
Listen, I want to get down this up now.
Yeah.
I don't want us coming down to City Hall with drama down here during the meetings.
Yes, sir.
About something that, he's the commissioner of Zone 2. He's chosen to work with folks to help deliver a service. He could very well just work with the school and partner in whatever way he wants.
Right.
And we're not gonna entertain, drama though. We're gonna have a dignified, professional meeting, and if there's an issue that he needs to address, it needs to be addressed with him, aside from in here.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Ken, can you and I have a conversation?
All you gotta do is call me. You know that. I don't understand why you
Okay,
come
I
up
will
here and
call
you
you.
attacked me when you haven't
I'm not
called me.
attacking you. I'm
Yes,
just
you
saying-
have.
Okay, no.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well,
Go
as the
ahead,
mayor
you go
just
ahead and
said,
attack me.
No drama. So cut the drama and let's talk and let's get it going.
Ladies, time go.
Unbelievable.
Ladies, 26 seconds go.
Ken, thank you so much for helping with this because you didn't have to.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, if someone comes in here and they attack me like that and I'm just out of the goodness of my heart trying to help them, it will be a no-go.
I understand.
Let's work with the school.
You're going to work with me, you're going to work with me, but you're not going to mistreat me and attack me. And I'm sorry because you didn't deserve that.
I don't like that.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
I would like to take this opportunity to commend Commissioner Strickland for the outstanding job that he's doing representing those residents over there in Zone 2. He's the best that they've ever had there. He's accessible and he's productive. There seems to be a group of people who are adamant about trying to ruin his name because he's up for election, but he's the best of the best. He even answered all of my questions. I can call him any time of day, and then he meets with me and he answers my questions. So you're the best of the best, Ken. So keep up the good work, and you will be reelected to your position. Also, Monica, I want to commend you for the outstanding work you're doing here in the city. And we are very proud of both of you. You're the two best ones on this entire podium. I would like to address a problem that I've brought before you before about the phone equipment. That road needs to be paved. It's in deplorable conditions. It's all cracked up with the big humps in it, right there from the phone equipment all the way to Martin Luther King. I would like to see that fixed. But the whole company is pumping a lot of money into this economy. And because of that, they deserve a decent road to drive down. I'm a graduate of Daytona State College with a degree in business administration, and that road is in perfect condition. So let's get busy and get that road paved. I had a problem at the Seafood Festival. I was harassed about parking in the back there in front of the Daisy Stocking Park. My life was threatened. I went over to talk to the police officer in charge, and he said he was going to send some officers over there. So they came, and they was harassing me too. So I spoke to Shakari Young about it, and he said that he would have a meeting with me to get this addressed. And so I would like to say also that these board appointments that you're doing, they're not being done fair. You're not even appointing people to committees. A woman named Carolyn Sanders was appointed to the Orange Avenue, that building there that's dilapidated. She was from Port Orange. She was not supposed, and I know her because I have 5,000 people. I knew she lived in Port Orange. So when she was appointed to that board by Ms. Reed, I made them get her off because she has to be appointed in Port Orange. She does not live here. So we want fairness with this board. We don't want people discriminating against us because they don't like us. Thank you. Keep up the good work, I love you.
Our next speaker is Frederick Brown, and on deck is Jenny Nazak.
While he's on his way up, let me just say something. I was there on Saturday. I was returning to the park after I went to let my dog out. And I saw Mrs. Johnson's car parked illegally in a striped parking area. And I asked the young man who asked her to move, what was the situation, and he said she cussed him out.
You're gonna wait. You gotta wait, man.
Yes, sir. And I said, what? He said, I told her that she was in a tollway area. We could not park in front of the entrance to the gate, that it was striped, and that her car would probably be towed. And she used profane language on him. There was no accost to her, from what I understand. He was very calm when he talked to me. I hadn't even parked yet. I was actually right behind her car trying to park somewhere. So if we're going to tell it, let's tell it right.
Mr. Brown?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'm 1508 Crescent Ridge. A couple of preliminary things. AV guys that I can no longer see back there do a great job. We need to put a little sign up there that says, please speak in the microphone. If there was some speakers you had, I really would have loved to hear what they had to say, but they're standing off to the side. Didn't pick them up very well. The other thing we need to do is get a sound bar for the TV in the lobby. I'm trying to listen to the proceedings out there, and the little teeny speakers are very badly distorted. Next to impossible. So, with the money we've been throwing around in the city, like the $517,500 roof we're putting on that building, it should be demolished and replaced for a fraction of that cost. We could probably afford a sound bar for the lobby. Flooding, once again, last year you did a great job. I know a lot of it had to do with me speaking up here on a regular basis, but you did pump down Buzz Pond and did a good job. This year promises to be one of the busiest hurricanes, at least if you believe the forecasters, and they're predicting a number of storms this year higher than we've had in the past. They do project one that comes right over Daytona, but again, that's pretty much a dice roll. One thing's for certain, we will have wind and we will have a lot of rain. So I hope the city will prepare again this summer so that we don't have the problem we had from 2 years ago. Mr. Mayor, I did send you a personal invitation. I want to talk about Green Initiative. Because we are on the coast, and because Daytona Beach has been known as the world's most famous beach for over 100 years now, the beach is important to us. It's our lifeblood. It's where the majority of our income comes from. Most of you know this. You've done a great job on the west part of the city for areas that have been neglected, especially the parks, and I commend you greatly for it. But let's not forget the beach side. Let's not forget the beach and the importance of the economic drive. I know Mr. Nickerson's talked about it numerous times, how important the business is there. It is important to the city, so let's not forget it. And I do encourage the mayor to join the Climate Mayor Program. I don't know if you had a chance to read my email yet. Over 750 mayors around the country have already signed on. A number of them here in Florida, and it would certainly be a statement if we did that here. I know I've talked a number of times about trying to get EVs. Once again, you approve more gas vehicles again. There was not even a proposal. And in doing some research, I found out that the actual co-op that we buy from does have an EV initiative for cities, but we're not pursuing it, and I don't know why. We should be, because in the long run, they're cheaper. The maintenance is far less, and the cost to operate is far less. I also would like to see the commission get a DOT report. I know we have a representative. We are getting the in-roadway warning lights in other cities, Ormond Beach and Daytona Beach shores. None here. We need them badly. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Jenny Nazak, and on deck is Tanya Ray.
Greetings, esteemed fellow citizens and city leaders. Hi, everybody. Okay, so housing, yes. Senior housing is awesome. Every bit of housing that we have in the Beach Street area is going to attract more businesses. Senior citizens need pharmacies, drugstores, restaurants and supermarkets and things. So senior housing is good news. I am so happy to be a senior citizen, and I regret that I have but one stomach and one wallet to give to the bars and restaurants of Daytona Beach, but I'm trying. And Mr. Nicholson, when you and I hang out, you don't eat and drink enough. You need to step it up, buddy. But I'll keep trying. All right. So what else? Anyway, so Daytona Beach, our city we have such a beautiful culture, and I think that when a city loves and values itself and has as many servant-oriented, good phrase, people as we have, the inner attraction, that's going to naturally draw the right kind of tourists and hopefully sort out the ones that don't really need to be here, because some of the tourists that come here are probably costing us more than they're spending. So we're gradually sorting that out, and it's really awesome.
Good point.
Yes. All right, so for the past couple of weeks, I have been at the Nature of Cities conference, and it's an online virtual conference I attend every year with people from the African continent, Asian continent, South America, all over the world. And as usual, the main topic was heat, flooding, green infrastructure, and how we bring nature into cities to partner with the built environment and deal with our various problems from heat to homelessness and various public health things. So I'm continuing to gather more insight from different places, best practices, connect with good people, and it's happening. We're sharing successes and figuring things out and keep working on it. One of the most exciting things was an initiative for drinkable rivers. There is a movement for drinkable rivers worldwide. Like, how many rivers used to be drinkable but are not? There's actually a group of mayors in a couple of European countries that are on this river called the News River, and they formed mayors for a drinkable News. Now, we're not going to have a drinkable Halifax because the Halifax is an estuary, but we can have a swimmable Halifax, we can have a drinkable St. John's. Now, whatever we do to promote from within the safety and cleanliness of our water and air, that's going to be great for residents and tourism. So we can have these really cool big goals, and they'll unite us, and everything we're trying to fight against, they'll help with these big goals like drinkable rivers. And there's lots more to say, and I have a YouTube channel. Good night, thank you.
Thank you, Jenny.
Our next speaker is Tanya Ray, and on deck is Emily Nice.
Hi, I'm Tanya Ray. I live in the Seabreeze subdivision, Area 2. I came here tonight because I've been a little bit out of the loop the last few weeks. I came here also to discuss the cameras at Collins Park and the crime and the vandalization that has occurred. We did find that we do now have cameras, but yet they've not been installed. So I wanted to know about that, wanted to get an update on that. We did have a meeting, I believe it was March 15th, with Ken to discuss 15 projects. All 15 projects seem to be great, go ahead, going to get funding, very excited, left us feeling very hopeful. Wanted to know if we can get an update on those, possibly if we can get an update maybe next week. We haven't heard anything. If you need an email or anything like that, we can get that to you, or telephone number. And also, during that meeting, it was kind of a private meeting between Weegee Kundig, Emily Nice and myself. And it was just over discussing the issues and things that we've had in our area for a very long time. I know that I was watching the media not too long ago talking about the $3.5 million that's going to be dumped into Seabreeze over the next few years. And I wanted to know also if we could get an update on the $25,000 for the Seabreeze lighting that is yet to be funded. Is there anything that you can tell us, or would you rather do that in an email, or? Okay. Guess that kind of speaks for itself. I'm sorry. Thank you for your time.
Our final speaker tonight is Emily Nice.
Good evening, everyone. Emily Nice, 941 North Oleander. I first wanted to thank the police for covering the unfortunate events. As you know, this situation is very dangerous, very continual, very predictable. And I just wanted to share that if you feel like the Seabreeze residents are frustrated, Brad has donated years of his time to enhance the city. And we're at a point now where we have not had communication. So we are frustrated, and with all due respect, I'm sorry to have to bring this up. It's uncomfortable. I would rather not be here. But it is something that needs discussing, and it's something that needs improvement. And I hope that by what I'm saying tonight, It will bring light, it will bring change, because all I ever want personally, and I can vouch for the residents in Seabreeze as the chairperson, they just want some things done. There are many of them who you know have spent over 10 years volunteering, and they're tired. They're tired of the same things. They've been quoted in newspaper articles over the past couple of years when issues of crime have been brought up by the late night activity. And I would just like to express our concerns for safety for not only the residents. We're not just talking about ourselves. We're talking about visitors. We're talking about business owners who don't own businesses on Seabreeze. We're talking about the young people who go there. Is it right that time after time now that their lives are in danger? No. Entertainment is not violence. And the violence has been consistent, and we need some help with it. As Tanya said, and as I've said before, we met with Commissioner Strickland in March 15th for a 4-hour-long meeting with Ouija, Tanya, and myself. Commissioner Strickland said he would do everything on our list because we had long-standing concerns. We have not heard from him. And all I have, when I asked about the Collins Park cameras, thank God, Drew responded on that. But we need more communication. It's very unfortunate, but I don't know why we're not getting it. We're open. All we want is improvement.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And our final speaker is Andrew.
Ann Ruby, 137 Park Avenue. First of all, that shooting on Seabreeze, that's not much there's anybody can do about that. That's young people with barely formed brains doing stupid stuff and making bad decisions. And what happened that night was the Daytona Beach police responded admirably, quickly and admirably, and nobody was killed. That could have been a very volatile situation, handled very differently. They're guardians, not warriors, and the DBPD has done everything they can to make that a safe entertainment district. And you cannot expect the city or the city commission or the police department to make everybody behave perfectly every minute of their time out getting drunk. You just can't. So I think the DBPD handled it great, and I thank them for that. This constant carping on the lack of communication with Commissioner Strickland is getting old. I was at one, first of all, I was on their neighborhood watch email list. They cut me out. Don't send me the emails anymore. Don't want me at their meetings. I went to a meeting, and I think it was a meeting you were there, when Emily Nice said, it's time to ask the commissioner to invest money in Seabreeze. And at that point, he had already invested $80,000 for cameras and $30,000 in Collins Park. She didn't mention that part. If they want communication with Commissioner Strickland, they're going to need to be polite and inclusive, and when he comes to their meetings, give him a chance to talk. It is despicable the way he's treated at those meetings. So I can understand why there's a lack of communication. They've created it. They're not looking to work with him. And it just is silly that it has to be like this. It's just silly. It doesn't move the city forward. It just doesn't. And I don't understand what the problem is. I really don't. But it seems, and a 4-hour meeting is ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. So I think, the other thing is, I have 30 seconds. The other thing is, if you have problems with all those businesses on Seabreeze, maybe invite them to your meetings. Invite them to the meetings, talk to them, develop a relationship with them. I know they're gonna give me a lot of crap for that, excuse my language. But you know, the guy from the 999 North Atlantic tried to come to their meeting and was told he wasn't welcome. And you know, from that hotel they're always complaining about. If you have problems with your neighbors, talk to your neighbors, invite your neighbors. So I'm kind of getting a little tired of hearing this constantly. B&W meeting tomorrow night.
Listen, before we leave, at some point I'm going to make a statement as one who has been through a lot of campaigns. I'm not sure how I'm going to state it because we all have a right to come to the microphone. But we have to remember the purpose of our meeting and the purpose of our calling and our causes. But I am going to make a statement, and I'm not sure what it's going to be. So before I say something that I might regret, I'm going to go home and think and pray about it. Good night. Let's continue to aspire to be great.